My mom dropped a bombshell during Christmas dinner, right as I took a bite of the turkey I'd spent hours preparing. "You need to leave," she said, her tone as casual as if she were discussing the weather. I kept my composure and responded, "Really? I'm the one paying rent, utilities, and groceries." The next morning, I packed my bags and left without a word. Hey Reddit, before we dive in, I want to mention this is our new channel, and we're working hard to share compelling stories with you. Please subscribe to help us reach 1,000 subscribers soon. Now, let's get to the story. Christmas dinner was meant to be a moment of calm. I'd spent the whole day cooking, roasting a turkey, crafting homemade stuffing, and baking an apple pie, my mom's favorite. The house was filled with the cozy scent of holiday memories, and I dared to hope this could be one night where we felt like a real family again. I poured drinks, set the table, and sat down with a flicker of optimism. But my mother barely glanced at me as she sliced into the turkey. She chewed deliberately, swallowed, and then, as if it were an afterthought, said, "You need to move out." Her voice was flat, emotionless, no build-up, no explanation. My fork froze halfway to my mouth. I blinked, thinking I'd misheard, but my sister's wide-eyed stare and my cousin's sudden silence confirmed it. I set my fork down and said evenly, "I covered the rent, the bills, and all the groceries." "You haven't worked in years, Mom." She just shrugged, sipped her wine, and mumbled something about wanting her space back, as if I were an unwelcome guest in the home I'd been keeping afloat. Here's some background. I'm 26, work full-time in IT, and moved in a few years ago to help my mom when she lost her job. I wasn't freeloading. She was on the verge of losing the house. I stepped in, paying for everything: rent, electricity, internet, even her streaming subscriptions. I never asked her for a dime. I thought that's what family does. She raised me, so I supported her in return. But over time, she started treating me like I was the problem. If dishes piled up, I was to blame. If the Wi-Fi lagged, it was my fault. If I got a call during her nap, I was being inconsiderate. I let it slide, convincing myself she was struggling and I needed to be patient. I ignored her snide remarks, her cold silences, her guilt trips about how I should be thankful to live in her house, despite the fact that I was the one keeping it running. That Christmas night, I didn't raise my voice or argue. I just stared as she went back to eating, as if she hadn't just upended my life. I excused myself, left the table, and went to my room. I sat there for hours, replaying her words. "You need to move out." There was no fight, no clear reason, just those words looping in my mind. I packed slowly, unsure of where I'd go, but certain I couldn't stay. She didn't check on me or ask what I was doing. It was as if she wanted me gone and didn't care where I ended up. The next morning, while she slept off her wine, I took my suitcase, grabbed my laptop and essentials, and walked out. No note, no farewell, no scene, just quiet. I thought she might call, maybe realize her mistake and apologize. But hours turned to days, and there was nothing, not a single text. The woman I'd supported for years didn't even check if I had a place to stay. I crashed on my friend Mason's couch. He welcomed me without hesitation, and his kindness showed me just how distant my own family had become. A few days later, I found a small studio apartment on the outskirts of town. It was modest, but mine. No one dictating my schedule, no judgmental glares if I laughed too loudly, no emotional manipulation, just calm. Then, about a week after I moved out, my younger sister texted me, "You won't believe what Mom's telling everyone." I called her right away, and her words made my stomach churn. Mom was telling our extended family that I'd abandoned her, claiming I stormed out on Christmas in a selfish rage. She said I'd screamed at her during dinner and left her alone. Some aunts reached out to her, offering sympathy and even meals to help her through this tough time. I was floored. My own mother was painting me as the villain to save face. It was working, too. My uncle stopped following me on social media. My cousin kicked me out of a group chat, all because of her lies. That's when something in me broke. I'd stayed quiet too long. I didn't want to air our family drama, but if she was going to tarnish my name, I wasn't going to let it slide. I considered sending a group text to set the record straight, but decided against it. Instead, I wrote a post. Calm, factual, and respectful. I explained how I'd paid every bill for years, never asked for anything in return, and how, during Christmas dinner, after serving the meal she claimed I ruined, she told me to leave. I didn't slander her. I just shared the truth and let people decide for themselves. I posted it and logged off. What happened next was unexpected. I avoided my phone all day, nervous about the response. Would anyone believe me, or were they too convinced by Mom's story? That night, curiosity won, and I checked my notifications. They were overwhelming. Messages, calls, comments. My Aunt Lisa, always the level-headed one, texted first. She was shocked and apologized for buying into Mom's narrative. She said Mom had a habit of bending the truth, but no one ever called her out. She offered her support and an open door if I needed it. Her words meant more than I can say. Other relatives followed. Some apologized, others just went quiet, clearly realizing they'd been misled. My cousin Kayla messaged, "We always sensed something was off with how your mom treated you." That hit deep. I'd always doubted myself, thinking I was overreacting, so her words were both painful and affirming. Then Mom saw the post. Someone must have shared it with her because the next morning my phone was flooded with her texts. First came the guilt. "How could you embarrass me like this?" Then anger. "You're twisting everything. I never told you to leave. You chose to." And finally, the classic. "After everything I've done for you." That last one almost made me laugh bitterly. I didn't reply. There was nothing to say. She'd had her chance to talk like an adult, but chose lies instead. Over the next few weeks, things calmed down. I settled into my apartment where I could finally breathe. No tension, no walking on eggshells, just freedom. I bought a used couch, a small table, a coffee maker. I cooked for myself, watched shows without headphones, slept soundly. The silence felt strange at first, but I grew to love it. I hadn't realized how much chaos I'd been living with until it was gone. Then my sister asked to meet. She'd been distant, caught between me and Mom, who she still lived with. We met at a cozy cafe, and after some small talk, she opened up. Things had gotten bad at home. Without my rent payments, Mom was falling behind on bills. The electricity was cut off for a day until she scraped together enough to pay. She'd even asked our grandmother for money but was turned down. My sister said Mom was unraveling, blaming everyone, especially me, for her troubles. But then she said something I didn't expect. "You were right to leave. You should have done it sooner." Coming from someone who'd lived in that house too, her words lifted a weight I didn't know I was carrying. She said she wanted to move out too, when she could afford it. I promised to support her emotionally when she was ready. Not with money, as I couldn't do that again, but with whatever else she needed. A few days later, Mom showed up at my apartment, holding a store-bought pie and wearing a forced smile. I didn't invite her in, just stepped into the hallway. She rambled about missing me, suggesting we have dinner and talk. I asked if she was there to apologize. She hesitated, then said, "I don't think I owe you one." We both messed up. That was enough. I wished her well and closed the door. No slam, no shouting, just a quiet end. I wasn't angry anymore. I was just finished. I'd spent years trying to be the dutiful son, the responsible one, the one who kept the peace. I'd given up my comfort, my money, my sanity to support someone who never valued it. But now I was free. The post I wrote stayed online, not out of spite, but for the truth. I didn't care if Mom saw it as betrayal. The real betrayal was her words that Christmas night and the lies she spread after. Months later, my apartment feels like home. I've added small touches, a lamp, a rug, things that make it mine. I meet my sister for coffee sometimes, and she shares her plans to leave. I know she'll make it. She's tougher than she thinks. As for me, I'm living for myself now. No guilt, no strings, just peace. And I wouldn't give it up for anything. Thank you for watching Story. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more real-life stories.